right, my friends, welcome back. This is going to be part 25. 25 in my presentation on the flood and Noah's Ark. And in my last video, we were just starting to get into some of the animals that were found on Antarctica and showing that it was a whole lot different climate than what it is now. That these animals could, no way they could survive the climate of Antarctica. One thing, they couldn't find enough food to survive on. But at any rate, about the only thing that could survive on it is penguins, and that's what we talked about before. And so, but at any rate, if you'll notice on the screen, it says here, I hear tell of dinosaurs that once roamed them there hills. And that's what we're going to be looking at, is dinosaurs and Antarctica. And so you bet there are evidence that dinosaurs once roamed the area that we now call Antarctica. And we're going to talk about some of the theories on why that is. And but this first one here, take a look at that. Now, we're going to have fun looking at these dinosaurs, and we're going to have fun pronouncing these dinosaurs. So it's going to be tough on some of them, guys, but I'm going to try. I'm going to really try my best to get through these words and these names here. But the first one is Antarctopelta. Antarctopelta. It means Antarctic shield. It seems like I can give the definitions better than I can the names. I tell you what, guys, they really try to twist that old tongue up. But it's a type of ankylosaur. And it measures 13 feet in length. And so there's one. Now, the next one here is Cryolophosaurus. Cryolophosaurus. Let's try that. Cryolophosaurus. It's like once I get my mouth going, I can get it. And it means cold-crested lizard. That you got cryo. That's where you get your cold at. And Lophosaurus. There we go. And 20 to 26 feet long. A fossilized tree trunk was also found 7 feet away from this dinosaur. All right, let's go on to the next one. Glacialosaurus. There you go. Glacialosaurus. And you can understand all these names here have to do with cold. You got cryo. Yeah, you got glacial. And then you got that other one was Antarctic. They're putting Antarctic in there. But this one means frozen lizard. Glacialosaurus, frozen lizard. 20 to 25 feet long, and estimated weight was 4 to 6 tons. Wow. So fossil footprints of iguanodons. Now, iguanodon, when you break up the word, it means iguana teeth. You guys should remember this. When they were first, when dinosaurs were just first being discovered, a dentist and his wife had discovered an iguanodon tooth, and the dentist called it an iguana. He named it iguanodon, and you got iguana, and then you got don, that like dentist. That's how you get iguanodon, iguana teeth. It's 14 to 33 feet long. That's how big the animal is, and up to 17 feet tall. It weighs 1.5 to 5 tons. Now, what did they find here? Fossil footprints of this dinosaur. And so now, for those of you that are interested in dinosaur and the human fossil footprints, just go back to my Dinosaur and Man presentation, go towards the end of it, and you will see that. I've got 100 videos. I think I've got just a little over 100 videos on that presentation there. And so lots of really cool information. Now it says, what did all these dinosaurs eat? Modern Antarctica has no trees or bushes. But in the dinosaurs' rock layers, we find lots of fossilized spores, ferns, pines, mosses, ginkgos, and cycads. These plants obviously require temperatures much different from today's temperatures. Analysis of tree rings indicates that the trees enjoyed a more temperate climate, nothing like the polar regions today. For instance, the rings are 10 times wider than those found in the trees of modern polar regions. And the fossilized trees did not have any frost rings. So there they're seeing that wherever these trees grew, whether it was in Antarctica, that they had more of a temperate climate than Antarctica does today. Now, other fossils that were found was one tooth. They found one tooth of a hadrosaur. And so this is what a hadrosaur looks like. And so it means big lizards is what that means. But there you go. Now, what is really interesting, guys, if you guys will remember Derek Victor Egger. Remember Derek Victor Egger? It's been probably maybe 2 or 3 videos ago. I brought him up and how much he had disdain for Velikovsky, Immanuel Velikovsky. And I'm just if you'll just look at the yellow highlighted area. I just wanted to bring this up. He was really hammering down on Velikovsky's writings. In one of his books, he wouldn't even name the book because he didn't want anybody to look at it. And but he's not a Bible believer. He does not believe in creationism. But he says, I can assure you that 90% of it is the most unmitigated nonsense. Now he's talking about Immanuel Velikovsky's research and writing. In the alleged transport of vast numbers of large vertebrates from the tropics to the Arctic by a great wave that did nor apparently carry with it a single marine organism. Now the reason I bring this up here is because Mr. Egger here, unfortunately, is mistaken, highly mistaken. And so, because they did, in fact, find marine organisms at the polar region. And so these are some other fossils that were found. A plesiosaur found in abundance. They found it in abundance. Now, when we talk about plesiosaurs, think of the Loch Ness Monster. You think about the Loch Ness Monster, this right here is what you're thinking of, right here. 4 flippers, long neck, and so small head. But this right here, they found them in abundance, Some others that were found, Mosasaurus, again, found in abundance. Now, these were also found in the same areas that they found those dinosaurs. And so, yes, they did find marine animals with the dinosaurs. And now, I'm going to come back to this right here in just a minute, but let's go through some theories, and then I'll add what my opinion is on this. And so, but let's just move on, and then I'll come back to it. The 3 theories on how they got there. One was flood deposits. The dinosaurs that were found in Antarctica were found in the same rock layers as that appear on other continents, indicating a flood deposit. Anything that is buried in thick, uniform sediment layers spread across whole continents seems likely to be a flood deposit. So it very well be that these animals were transported from another location to this location, and then they were deposited. And you got to think, when you get animals with the same type of body density and you get the same type of sedimentation, you're going to get more of a uniform depositing of sediments even though it's across the world. And so now one of the problems that I see in this area, in just this area, is that if dinosaurs were deposited from another area that was further away than Antarctica, it is possible that that these dinosaurs would be more disarticulated. And what I mean by disarticulated is that you wouldn't find any dinosaurs with the head attached to the neck and then the neck attached to a body and legs. Disarticulated means that there would have legs and head missing, and that's what you mean. There's nothing articulated. There's nothing put together. If you take a puzzle and a puzzle that's already put together, and you take that puzzle and you shake it up real good and just make all the pieces come off of each other and just spread them all around the room, that means that puzzle is disarticulated. It's not together. And so that's the type of flavor that I'm giving you. I hope that's a good definition there. But you wouldn't have, if you take the whole human form, head, arms, and legs, and you find them in a grave, you would most likely find that skeleton articulated. Now, if you was to take me and put me in a blender, type of more of a catastrophic type of nature of burial, and most likely you're going to find me disarticulated, which I could have an arm or a leg not attached to the body. And so that is one of the things that I have heard other researchers say, is that the problems with animals being carried for long distances is that the water is going to make them decompose faster, and then you're going to get creatures that are going to feed on them. And so, but again, that's just a thought. And this right here is a good theory. I will say that the flood deposit is a very good theory, though. The next one is that they were buried in place. They actually lived on that land of Antarctica. And so due to the distances needed for water transport, the fossils would have been destroyed, just like I said, by the heavy debris carried along with the animals. And that right there is another good point to make out, is that, these animals a lot of times are buried not only with other animals, but they're also buried with plant material on it. So you got trees and all that type of stuff bumping up against the animal. It's going to start knocking it apart as it starts to decompose. And so that is a very good point to make. Now, this one and the third one kind of coincide together in some way, and that is, it was once near the equator, Antarctica. Most creation geologists agree that Antarctica has not always been at the location where it is today, possibly breaking off from the supercontinent during the flood. Evidence from several geological details suggests that Antarctica was connected to Australia. The dinosaurs lived there when the continent was in a much warmer environment, and we've went through that already. And so if you want to check out the previous videos that I did with this one, you will see that. You will see that. And so what I'll do for my YouTubers, and what I'll do for all my people, I guess all the platforms that I'm posting on, I will put the first video. I will attach the first video on the YouTube channel that starts off with the Pangea theory, or the supercontinent. They call it more of it's better to say supercontinent. They call it where all the land masses were one. And so there is some evidence to suggest and to give credence that it did happen. There was a supercontinent. And so that is another very good theory. And so, but now there is another thought when we start getting into the canopy theory, that they also believe that the world did not have this 23-degree tilt that it has today, and that it was straight up and down, and that would have given more sunlight to the polar regions. Though it probably was cooler in these areas, nothing like it is today, though. Nothing like it is today. So they're thinking that it possibly had more of a temperate climate than we have today. And so, again, whatever the case may be, the thing is that they have found footprints, dinosaur footprints, on the land area where Antarctica is. And so whether it was in a different location that it is now, one thing we can say is that dinosaurs were walking at one point in time on that land. And so that right there, it gives enough evidence to me that there's more to it than just the dinosaurs just being deposited there, though I'm not negating that at all. There very well could have had flood deposits there, just like they could have flood deposits on all the continents. All the continents experience some type of flood deposition. It did happen. And so, but with the equator, excuse me, with the polar regions, you know, that's one of the possibilities that I'm showing you. And so, but all right, my friends, let's stop right there. I'm looking at the next slides, and we're going to start getting into fossil graveyards. And we're going to start off by giving you some fossil definitions. And we're going to look at all types of fossils and give you some, and we're going to look into some of that, rabbit trailing here and there. And but again, there's no hurry. I'm having fun with it. And again, this is for my Bible believers. I'm here to educate you guys. And so, but lots still to come. Lots of really neat stuff still to come. But you guys take care. I love you, and I hope the Lord blesses you real good. Bye-bye.